Yeah, I heard like JJ Redick was trying to hold them accountable for playing defense and stuff. And it was basically saying like they gonna do this or not. And I'm like, they're not. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, what is he really gonna do? You're not gonna play Luka?
Yeah,
You're
bro.
gonna get fired.
Yeah, and they're gonna get another coach in here tomorrow who's gonna let Luka do what he do. Because guess what? It ain't no coach in the world is gonna make Luka play defense, bro.
Yeah, it's over with. That's why I would never take the Lakers job. Any job Luka Doncic or LeBron James is in, I would never take it. Like, why? Would you?
I mean, yeah, that would be a hell of a gig to have.
Yeah, you can't coach him.
Yes, you can.
I coach the
bro.
rest of the team.
You got to put players around them. You know how to fill the void where it is. If I have Luka as one of the best players in the league, bro, I have to. Who's Trevor Ariza? Who's Ron Artest? Who is
Defining roles.
Isaiah Stewart? Who is goddamn
They
it?
don't respect no damn JJ Redick.
Yeah, though the defensive players will. We fuck JJ Redick. We on the court. I'm putting players around him.
Stars make your team. So if your star is not in it, like, it don't.
And that is a red flag. As the season goes on, the schedule will get harder. They will face more playoff-level teams, more physical defenses, and more hostile road games. If the Lakers cannot defend weak teams properly, what do you think is going to happen when they face elite teams night after night? The answer is obvious. Losses will pile up. One of the biggest issues with this team is the lack of consistency. LeBron James plays one game, sits another, then comes back, then sits again. Luka Doncic plays heavy minutes every night and carries a massive load on offense. Austin Reeves has been in and out with injuries. Lineups change constantly. Roles are unclear. Chemistry never has time to build. Basketball is not just talent, it is timing, trust, and repetition. You cannot build that when the roster changes every game. Players do not know when to be aggressive, when to defer, or where their shots will come from. That confusion shows up on defense first, and that is exactly what we're seeing. A lot of people are trying to blame Luka right now, but that is lazy analysis. Luka has never been known as a defensive stopper. That was never his role. He is a scorer, a playmaker, and a rebounder. He's doing exactly what he's always done. Scoring over 40 points and still losing by double digits tells you everything you need to know about the team around him. The Kings are not a good team this season, yet the Lakers were blown out. That is embarrassing. When you lose badly to teams below you in the standings, that is not a matchup problem. That is a mentality problem. The standings also show how fragile the Lakers' position really is. The Warriors are right behind them with fewer wins only because they have played more games. The Trailblazers are not far either. 1 or 2 bad weeks and the Lakers could easily drop into the play-in or worse. Missing the playoffs is not some wild idea anymore. It's a real possibility. This is where coaching comes into the discussion, and this is exactly where Jeff Teague's comments become important. Jeff Teague said something that many former players already understand, but fans do not want to accept. Coaching LeBron James or Luka Doncic is not a normal coaching job. It is not about X's and O's, it is about survival. Jeff Teague openly said he would never want that job, and his reasons were simple. You cannot truly coach those players. You cannot bench them. You cannot discipline them the way you would other players. If you try, you lose your job. That is the reality of the NBA. When JJ Redick tried to talk about accountability and defense, Jeff Teague laughed it off, and for good reason. What is JJ Redick supposed to do? Bench LeBron? Bench Luka? That would get him fired instantly. Another coach would be hired the next day, and that coach would let the stars do whatever they want. That cycle never ends. This is why the Lakers' coaching job is one of the worst jobs in basketball, not because the team lacks talent, but because the power structure is broken. The coach is not the leader, the stars are. And when stars don't commit to defense or effort, the entire team follows that example. We see this every night with LeBron James. Yes, the highlights are posted everywhere. Dunks, alley-oops, step-back threes, but highlights do not show the full game. What they don't show are the plays where he doesn't get back on defense, where he watches instead of rotates, where he turns the ball over late in games, or where he forces shots into double and triple teams instead of making the right play. Leadership is not about scoring. Leadership is about setting a standard. When the best player on the team doesn't care about defense, no one else will. When the best player sits away from the huddle and doesn't listen to the coach, what message does that send to younger players? This is why Jeff Teague said LeBron is uncoachable at this stage, not because LeBron is not smart, but because he wants everyone to adjust to him, not the other way around. Compare that to players like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, who were known for being demanding, but also for buying into team rules and holding themselves accountable first. Another issue that doesn't get talked about enough is roster construction. Jeff Teague mentioned something very important. If you have stars who don't defend, you need strong defensive role players around them. Players like Trevor Ariza, Ron Artest, or other tough defenders who can cover weaknesses. But those players also need respect from the stars. And right now, there is no real respect for the coaching staff or system. Your stars define your team. If your star doesn't care, it doesn't matter who else you add. That is why the Lakers keep failing no matter how many changes they make. Then there's the issue of blame. Recently, some Lakers blogs started blaming Dalton Knecht and saying the team regrets drafting him. That makes no sense. Dalton actually contributes when he plays. He works, he tries, he does his role. If the Lakers want to talk about regret, they should talk about Bronny James. This is uncomfortable for people to say, but it needs to be said. Bronny has not added anything positive to the Lakers. His spot exists only because of LeBron. When LeBron leaves or retires, Bronny will not last in the league. No team is trading for him. No team is building around him. His NBA future is tied completely to his father. Yet no one wants to talk about that. Instead, they attack role players who are actually trying to help the team win. That shows how confused and desperate the Lakers situation has become. As the season goes on, the pressure will increase. Losses will bring more media attention. More blame will be thrown around. If the Lakers miss the playoffs, someone will pay the price. Most likely, it will be the coach, because that is how the league works. J.J. Redick could get fired, maybe not immediately, but eventually, and it won't fix anything. Another coach will come in and face the same problems. Stars who cannot be coached, defense that doesn't exist, a team with no identity. LeBron's contract is almost up, and this era is coming to an end whether people like it or not. The Lakers need to seriously think about their future. Extending LeBron again would only delay the rebuild and continue the same cycle of excuses and disappointment. Some people say the NBA will suffer when LeBron retires, that the ratings will drop, that fans will stop watching. That is simply not true. Early this season, when LeBron missed games, the NBA had some of its best ratings in years. Fans want new stars. They want competitive basketball. They want effort and passion. People are tired of the same story every year. Social media campaigns and legacy talk can only go so far. Without that push, LeBron wouldn't even be close to an all-star vote anymore. Fans are moving on. Right now, the Lakers look like a team stuck in the past, holding on to a name instead of building a future. If nothing changes, this season will end in disappointment. Missing the playoffs is very possible, and even if they make it, they will not go far. At the end of the day, Jeff Teague said what many players think but don't say out loud. Coaching LeBron or Luka is not about basketball anymore. It's about managing egos and protecting your job. Until that changes, the Lakers will continue to fall. The standings will keep tightening, the losses will keep coming, and eventually the excuses will run out. The Lakers are not unlucky. They are poorly built, poorly defended, and poorly led. And unless real accountability starts at the top, nothing will improve.
That is where the Lakers are right now, and that is why the situation feels worse than ever. Now, when you really look at the Lakers in this situation, it's not just about a few losses or bad games. It's a bigger problem with the team structure and how the stars interact with the system. Jeff Teague made a very valid point when he said that he would never want to coach LeBron James or Luka Doncic, and that statement hits the nail on the head. Coaching a team like the Lakers right now is not just hard, it's almost impossible. You can't fully hold players accountable when the most important ones on the court refuse to adjust or follow the system. LeBron James at this stage in his career is a player who expects everyone else to conform to him. He's been successful for so long that he rarely listens to coaches or follows strict defensive schemes. That means any coach trying to make the Lakers a cohesive team is working with a huge handicap from the start. Luka Doncic is another story, but follows a similar pattern in terms of uncoachable habits. Luka is one of the best scorers and playmakers in the league, no doubt, but his defense is a weakness, and there's almost nothing a coach can do about it. Jeff Teague pointed out the obvious. No coach can force Luka to play defense if he simply chooses not to. That is the reality of trying to coach superstars like LeBron or Luka. You can put all the defensive systems in place, run drills or call out rotations, but if your stars refuse to follow it, your team will struggle no matter how talented the other players are. Now, let's talk about the Lakers' defense. Right now, they're sitting at 25th in the NBA in defensive rating. That's almost the bottom of the league. For a team that wants to compete for a championship, this is unacceptable. Teams that defend poorly don't win consistently. Sure, LeBron can score, and the Lakers can make some highlight plays, but if they can't stop the other team, it doesn't matter how many points they put up. You can't win playoff games with defense like this, and it's no coincidence that the Lakers are struggling even against mid-tier teams. That's why Jeff Teague's point about coaching this roster is so important. Even if you're a great coach, if the stars are uncoachable, there's a limit to what you can do. Another major issue is roster consistency. The Lakers have been playing with different lineups almost every game. Austin Reeves being out, LeBron playing selectively, and other role players coming and going creates chaos. How do you build chemistry when your rotation changes constantly? Basketball is a team game, and it relies heavily on players understanding each other, trusting each other, and moving together as a unit. Right now, the Lakers are nowhere near that level of cohesion. Even if the coaching staff wanted to push the team to defend harder or make smarter plays, the constantly changing roster makes that nearly impossible. Jeff Teague's comments also highlight an interesting truth about leadership in the NBA. Many times we talk about coachable stars like Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, players who listened to their coaches and adjusted when needed. That made it easier to build a team and win championships. But with LeBron or Luka, we're looking at players who lead differently. They lead by scoring and creating, but they don't follow the traditional coachable mold. That is why Teague said he would never want to coach them. It's not disrespect, it's realism. Coaching these players requires a completely different approach, one that many coaches are not willing or able to take on. We also have to consider the psychological impact on other players. If you're a role player on the Lakers, you're trying your best on defense and effort plays, but the stars don't follow the system. What message does that send? It creates frustration and lowers morale. Players like Austin Reeves or even some of the bench guys can feel undervalued or forced into impossible roles. When your stars aren't fully on board, the entire team suffers. That's exactly what Jeff Teague was explaining. Even if a coach tries to hold everyone accountable, the stars can override any system in place. That is why he refuses to take that job. It's a lose-lose situation for any coach, because no matter what you do, you're always fighting the current. The Lakers' recent losses to teams like the Sacramento Kings demonstrate all these problems in action. A team that should have been manageable was able to beat the Lakers because the system isn't working. LeBron might score, and the Lakers can make some highlight plays, but if they can't stop the other team, it doesn't matter how many points they put up. You can't win playoff games with defense like this, and it's no coincidence that the Lakers are struggling even against mid-tier teams. That's why Jeff Teague's point about coaching this roster is so important. Even if you're a great coach, if the stars are uncoachable, there's a limit to what you can do. Lastly, the Lakers situation also raises questions about the future. LeBron James is in the final years of his career. His playing style, his selective game appearances, and his overall leadership approach make the team heavily dependent on him. Bronny James, even if drafted, will not change the dynamics much because the team will always revolve around LeBron. Luka Doncic in Dallas faces similar challenges. He's a superstar, but if his team lacks role players or a solid defensive system, even he cannot carry the team alone. Luka sees this clearly. The job of coaching these types of stars is more about managing egos than teaching defense or offense. If a coach isn't prepared to handle that, the job becomes impossible, no matter how talented the roster is.